Could we pick up now where we left off? Mr. Stark, please.
Yes, dear.
Could I have your attention?
Absolutely.
Our priority here is to have you turn over the Iron Man weapon to the American people.
Well, you can forget it.
We're safe. America is secure. You want my property? You can't have it. But I did you a big favor. I have successfully privatized world peace.
We're adjourned for the day. You've been a delight.
Give me a smooch for good luck. I might not make it back.
Go get him, boss.
You complete me. Oh, it's good to be back.
You come from a family of thieves and butchers. And now, like all guilty men, you try to rewrite your own history. And you forget all the lives the Stark family has destroyed. There will be blood in the water, and the sharks will come.
Hey guys, Adam here, and welcome to another On the Couch Rewind. So we're continuing Marvel Madness with a movie that some say is actually the worst out of all the Marvel films. Iron Man 2. The story is Tony Stark has outed himself as Iron Man. He is now enjoying the even bigger fame of being a superhero. But at the same time, he's also suffering the some of the negative repercussions of being a hero. For instance, he is now dying from the very device that's saving his life. He's becoming a bit destructive as a consequence of it. Also, a new villain has shown up that wants revenge on Tony Stark for the injustices upon his family. And also at the same time pushing away his friends, his loved ones. So, I mean, that's pretty much it with that story. Oh, and there's a Stark Expo in there that is kind of the main setting of the movie. So basically, this movie is considered the worst out of the entire Marvel franchise, Marvel Cinematic Universe franchise. Is it true? Kinda, yeah. I'm not saying it's a bad movie, because it's not. It's not the steaming pile of shit people are saying it is. But it's not great. It's rushed. Is what I should say. It's definitely rushed, and it's very apparent. It's very apparent that this movie was rushed because Iron Man was such a success. Iron Man has become a household name by this point. So Marvel, for whatever reason, decided to rush the second one and really pressured Jon Favreau to do that. And the final product just wasn't on par. Which probably really opened Kevin Feige's and Marvel's eyes to go ahead and say, yeah, maybe we should really just let the directors do their thing and just occasionally talk to them in order to keep continuity and whatnot, instead of really forcing them to do this. And it and so yeah, that's pretty much Iron Man 2. The biggest thing about this is the story. Like, honestly, this story, I'm curious as to whether there was something else they had in mind with it instead of what they did with this. Like, because honestly, I kind of thought maybe what they would do is like have Tony Stark. Now, granted, this is before I found out Incredible Hulk takes place during and after the events of Iron Man 2. Oh, excuse me. It's late again. But what I was thinking was that Tony is kind of working with S.H.I.E.L.D. on a mission, and he's the only one who can do it, but he teams up with Black Widow and whatnot. That was my original thought, was like, he's like, Tony Stark is the James Bond of the Marvel Universe in a way. He's the one they go to in order to get a problem fixed that only he can do. And, I mean, you know what? That could have been the story they wanted. I don't know. But they couldn't because they were just kind of rushing. They had to do something that would go within the budget and the time frame they had to shoot this movie. Instead of going all out like honestly, I was hoping they would. And it just really didn't work out as well. Like, the whole Expo thing. Oh. Excuse me. Sorry, like I said, I'm tired. It's late. It's just, it feels like a mess, but it's not a train wreck. It's just a little bit of a mess, but not a complete and utter train wreck. Characters, really the cast is fine. The cast is great. That's not the biggest problem with this. Like, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, still great. He's really just having a ball. But at the same time, because he's dying, because he's being very irrational, and yes, that is his character. He's a very irrational person. He's a very impulsive person. It does kind of go on the borderline of unlikability, and that's not Tony. Tony's supposed to be a likable asshole, and he's very close to kind of towing that line of being unlikable. Now, granted, in the deleted scenes, he is completely unlikable. Like, he is totally unlikable, and these are deleted scenes I'm glad stayed deleted. I'm going to go ahead and get that out of the way. Deleted scenes were not completely necessary in this movie. I'm glad that they kept it that way. But that's what I want to say about Tony, because Tony is Tony. Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. He's Tony Stark. It's really a continue, like, in a way, a progression of him becoming a hero, which is great. Excuse me again. Sorry. Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts, again, really good. She is great. I love her. She's so much fun. And now that she's CEO of Stark Industries, she really is tired. She really has an excuse to really tell Tony that he's being a fucking idiot. And it's great. Their chemistry is great. The delivery they each have on each other is great. It's like the comedy between the two is really fun to watch, because it is some of the best dialogue writing I have seen. Because some of it is very improvised, mostly on Robert Downey Jr.'s part. But it's amazing how well Gwyneth Paltrow can keep her composure to deliver a retort that also feels very improvised. And she does it very well, because I think I would have had a very difficult time trying to keep Tony to keep myself on my toes when Robert Downey Jr. is spewing lines that would make me laugh. also the latest cast member, however, I really want to talk about is Don Cheadle as Rhodey. This is Rhodey. This is James Rhodes. This is War Machine right here. Don Cheadle is perfect in this role. I mean, I'm not going to go into the whole Terrence Howard debacle with Iron Man that made him leave. But I'm going to say Don Cheadle was a better choice. He was a much better choice in this role than Terrence Howard, because he definitely acts like someone who loves Tony. He does. He loves Tony because they're best friends. They like to hang out with each other and whatnot. But at the same time, he realizes Tony really needs to up his game. He really needs to start being a better person, and he can see he can be. It's just he also knows he's Tony. Tony is Tony, and sometimes it's got to be that friend that tells Tony, you've got to get your shit together. And he's actually in the right for the most part, but I'll get to that later when I talk more about the story. I'm trying to think now. Well, Jeff Bridges is dead in this. I'm sorry. I'm really trying to remember all this. Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. Some people didn't like her in it. I thought she was fine. Like, there were some people who thought that she was too young looking to play Black Widow, or to really play Natasha Romanoff. I am perfectly fine with her. I think she did a great job. She did fantastic. She plays a badass pretty damn well. I've seen it. I'm hell. You see my Lucy review. I mean, you even saw my Winter Soldier review. But that's the thing though about her looking young and whatnot. That's part of her disguise. She has to look appealing to Tony. She has to not play badass. So when she like gets in her Black Widow suit, yes, it's a little jarring because she's still wearing the makeup and the hair of her disguise. But it's usually at the last minute. She doesn't have time to change her whole look. So yeah, she's gonna look like that. So I'm perfectly fine with that because she pays it off with how badass she can be with her moves and whatnot that look like they're out of the comic book. So and she again, she has great chemistry. She especially has great chemistry with Gwyneth Paltrow. She has great. I mean, she even had a little bit of good chemistry with Jon Favreau, who's also really good as Happy Hogan. I mean, of course, he directed this, but I'm glad he allowed his role to be expanded beyond just a couple of lines and a cameo that you barely remember because he's barely in it. But he still plays that chauffeur and bodyguard that will do whatever Tony tells him to. But he does more. He also shows he can fight, even though it's one dude, and it's actually humorous. Jon Favreau's a funny guy. Jon Favreau is hilarious. So yeah, he's gonna have a lot of fun. Mickey Rourke. Man, talk about a stock villain. Not saying it's a bad thing. Like, he's like I said about other villains, he's an intimidating motherfucker. I mean, it's Mickey fucking Rourke. Okay? This is the same guy who's known for beating women. This is the same guy who's known for 9.5 weeks. 50 Shades of Grey before it was popular. And yet he was still charming. I mean, well, he was a hell of a lot more charming than Christian Grey. But where's my drink? Okay, never mind. But here's Mickey Rourke playing a Russian. Like he plays Whiplash. Ivan Vanko, who's the son of Anton Vanko, and he's a cross between the character Whiplash and Crimson Dynamo. And he pulls it off very well. He plays villain very well. Hell, he plays a Russian villain very well. But at the same time, again, it's the rushing. I mean, it's the phrasing. It's just the rushed production. It's the script. I feel like there was more to this character. Hell, even Mickey Rourke has said there was more. There was more to this character. It's just Marvel was busting, and I'm quoting him here, was busting Jon Favreau's balls. And I can actually kind of believe it. So, like, I'm not always going to defend Marvel. Even I admit, like, sometimes when Marvel screws up, it's just they don't do it as much. But I digress. Mickey Rourke's character Ivan really should have been expanded a bit. Again, like I said, I feel like the story was meant to be different, like very Cold War-ish era for this movie. Since, I mean, you got a Russian villain, you got a spy who's known to be Russian, and you got Tony Stark, who in the comics is known to be the guy who fights against communism. I mean, of course, in this case, it's terrorism, but honestly, you could have thrown in like a bit of the Cold War era in here, like which they were trying to do, but at the same time, they were really trying to hide it because it's not relevant for the times. Honestly, you could have done something with that. You really could have made it very Cold War-ish for this movie. I would have been fine with that. I really would have. It would have been fun if they like took the story made the story a little different. And I feel like it did. It meant to. I'm trying to think. Sam Rockwell. Oh God, dude, Sam Rockwell, a lot of fun. Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer. Now, in the comics, Justin Hammer is actually an old British guy, but they changed it to make him kind of the anti-Tony Stark. But goddamn, but you know what? Fuck me, dude. Is he a lot of fun in this? He's so enjoyable. He really is. And at first, I thought he was a little grating. I thought he was a little annoying. But the more I watch this, the more I really enjoy Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell is a lot of fun. And you know what one of his first movies was? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have mentioned this, okay? This is how far he's gone. This is how far he's gone in his career, as he is in an Iron Man movie. He goes from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to Iron Man 2 at this point. And I thank that movie every day for giving us Sam fucking Rockwell. And until I see the Poltergeist remake. But hopefully he'll dance in that. But he's a lot of fun. He is the anti-Tony. He is a very Tony Stark-ish character, but at the same time, he's not like Tony. He's not smart. He's not charming. He's not charismatic. He's none of those things. He's Tony in the ways of he's rich and he owns a weapons manufacturer, but at the same time, he's not Tony because he doesn't have any of the things that makes Tony one of the most popular people on the planet. Or one of the most influential. He's just there. He's just money. That's it. That's all that there is to him. But he makes it up. He kind of makes it up for being Sam fucking Rockwell. I'm trying to remember. Samuel Jackson is Nick Fury. Doubt it. It's just Sam Jackson being Nick Fury, being awesome, being a bad motherfucker. That's it. That's all I can say. And also we got Coulson again. Like this movie didn't really get me into Coulson all that much. He didn't. until like, but he will later on. He will. All right, I'm back. I'm trying to think now. Sorry, like I said, I'm tired. I'm trying to get, believe me, I'm trying to get all these movies out. So I'm going to be a little tired because I'm going to be doing a lot of these really, really late. But one of the things I really want to talk about, this is something I just noticed recently about the movie, or I've kind of noticed, but I didn't really piece it together until now, is there's a big, big problem I have with this movie, and it's this. All right, so Tony has kind of gone overboard. They kind of hint at the whole demon in the bottle thing where he gets really, really drunk at his own birthday party to where he could possibly, quite possibly, be a danger to himself and everyone around him. Rhodey gets fed up with it, goes down to the basement, takes the Mark II suit, which, first off, how does he do that? How do you do that? How do you get in that suit? Although they kind of explain it, but at the same time, made no sense. I'll get to it later. And then he fights Tony and runs off with the suit. Now here's the other thing. Not only did he steal Tony's suit, which is technically his, it is, he, at the same time, he is also now working with Justin Hammer, to weaponize his suit and present it at the Stark Expo, which is owned by Stark Industries, and sponsored by him, showing weapons demonstration. Which, first off, I thought Stark Industries was done with the weapons, so I would assume like this was meant to not be for weapons demonstrations, like even if it's for the military, but meant to show inventions that could better mankind as a society. So I was really confused by that. The more I thought about it, I mean, yes, it was just there to set up an action sequence. I get it. But story-wise, it made no sense, especially as the rules of the entire entire Iron Man franchise alone. With that said, how the hell did they allow this? Because they had to get that suit, which looks like an Iron Man suit, through security that works for Stark and not get arrested for theft, which technically should have happened. Not to mention he was doing this under military orders and stealing the suit and giving it to the military for weaponization. Now someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's illegal. Even for the military, that is illegal, because technically he did not make that suit under contract. He did not make the suit under contract, so technically it's his property. He did not make the suit under contract. Yes, he was under contract. Now, at the time, he was under contract, but he made those suits while he made the first suit under captivity. He made the second one on his own. He didn't use military money. He used it. He made it himself. It was a secret project, which technically he's allowed. I'm pretty sure he's allowed to do. And the military takes it. Like, I mean, granted, it's Rhodey, and Rhodey used it in order to to kind of like put Tony in his place and to protect the people that he could possibly he's currently endangering. But then he just flies off with it, obviously under military orders. I'm pretty sure that is illegal, and it's very jarring to see this. Like, I mean, the military and the government isn't really portrayed in a positive light in this movie anyway. I mean, which it's kind of explained, which is explained in the later films, especially with the senator, which is a great scene to begin with, but with not knowing that, without not knowing that, it's still, or even with knowing that, it's still jarring because it is technically illegal. I'm not saying I'm an expert in government or law or politics as much as I love to talk about politics, but and feel free to say I'm wrong. Feel free to come up with your own arguments about this. I'm open to it. But I'm pretty sure what the military committed in illegal action that could quite possibly get Colonel Rhodes and everybody else involved court-martialed. Like I said, I could be wrong. I could be very, very wrong. But I'm pretty sure that that is the case. If they actually used any actual logic for this case, that would have happened. And that's all I want to say about that. Like that was like my biggest problem. That was like one of my biggest problems about that. Action sequences are a lot of fun. They are. They are so much fun to watch. Like I said, I really wish the story was something completely different, but I still enjoy the action. I still enjoy the fight sequences. The Monaco fight sequence is a lot of fun because we get to see the Iron Man suit turn into the like form with the suitcase. Like that was a nice little homage to how Iron Man like carried his suit around all the time, or how Tony carried the suit around all the time in the comics. I really did enjoy that. Like now, I will say, the final fight between Tony and War Machine, or Iron Man and War Machine against Whiplash / Crimson Dynamo, it's an amalgamation of the two, was really short and really kind of anticlimactic. Like, here is Mickey Rourke, a big motherfucker, in an even much bigger motherfucking suit with whips, and he's beating their ass, and all it takes is Tony and Rhodey to use the repulsor race to connect and cause this big explosion, which they did before when the two of them fought, and that beats Mickey Rourke. Which is really, really disappointing because I really wanted to see more. Yes, it shows like, yeah, Tony is smart where he knows how to get out of a situation quickly, but at the same time, it's a fight sequence I really wish just wasn't on par with the fight sequence against Ironmonger in the first movie. And that was just really disappointing. I'm trying to think now. Sorry. But other than that, I really did enjoy the fight sequence. I enjoyed the fight sequence with the where Iron Man and War Machine went up against the Hammer Drones in the same place before they fought Ivan Vanko. That was a lot of fun because you just get to see the two surrounded by these drones, and they're just like, "Yep, you ready to do this, buddy? I'm ready to do this." And it's like, ching, ching, and just being awesome in that. That fight sequence was fun. That fight sequence was awesome. But after that, it just was really anticlimactic. Black Widow's fight sequence was enjoyable because it showed off how cool she is. How a small 130-pound girl can still be awesome. or can really take down a bunch of dudes, and that was cool. So yeah, like, I mean, hell, even the fight with between Tony and Rhodey and at the birthday party was fun, because one, you got a really cool sound. You actually do have a bit of a cool, really good mix with the late Adam Goldstein complimenting this fight sequence, which was a lot of fun, because I'm like, because there's like doom 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 boom 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 boom, and you're just seeing like these two just beat the shit out of each other, like Rock'em Sock'em Robot style. Trying to think now. After credit scene. I really like this after credit scene, and here's why. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, obviously you people still continue to watch these movies. I mean, or you still continue to walk out of the theater without watching before the credits end, which you need to stop. You need to stop it now. Coulson had left Tony prematurely because he was reassigned to New Mexico. So it cuts to Coulson in New Mexico. He steps out of the car and he's in the desert. He's looking out in the distance. There's a crater, and Coulson pulls out his phone and calls Fury and says, "Sir, we found it." And then it zooms out past Coulson towards the crater, and it shows Mjolnir, the hammer of Thor, and then blacks out with a thunder crackling sound, which was awesome. And the reason why I really like this after credits sequence is because we have seen nothing of Thor at that time. Nothing. This is the first thing we see, and it's, well, first off, it's obviously not directed by Jon Favreau. It was directed by Kenneth Branagh. Awesome. Very awesome, because this was fantastic to see. Because not only did we get our first glimpse at the Thor movie, but we actually got to see what Mjolnir looks like. Mjolnir looked amazing. It just blew my mind, because I'm like, oh my god, Thor's actually gonna happen. Thor's happening next year. Of course, opening fucking night on my towards my birthday. My experience with that wasn't as fantastic. It opened my eyes to a few things. Not with the movie, but that's for another time. I love, but with that said, is this movie the worst thing Marvel could offer? I've seen worse. I really have. Like, so far, I have not seen a single Marvel movie I hate. I do not hate this movie. I don't. I really, really don't. I do enjoy this movie. I continue to watch it on repeat. I continue to watch it all the time. I've seen this movie plenty of times. Hell, I fucking own it. How else do you think I was able to watch it? I mean, it was also the first Blu-ray I bought. Believe it or not, this is the first time I ever bought a Blu-ray. I mean, mostly because this is where I was going to get the special features from now on. Before that, I didn't want to buy a Blu-ray because I didn't really see the point in it. But now I do, because, again, special features. That's how I'm going to watch shit now. Or get that shit now. And I haven't looked back on it, because getting this was the best thing, one of the best decisions I ever made. It convinced me to get Blu-ray. Especially with, like, the Marvel films. I have not since Iron Man 2 have I owned a Marvel movie on DVD. I mean, I do have a couple of Marvel movies on DVD, but they come with the Blu-ray pack. Other than that, it's just mostly Blu-rays for now. And I mean, I still own some DVDs of movies, but that's usually because I can't find the Blu-rays anywhere. Or I choose not to get the Blu-rays of these movies. But is it still, but is it the best? Not really. It's not the best. It's just not. Because I do feel like it was rushed. The story could have been better. It could have been different. I really wanted to see where it would have gone. It would have been a very interesting take had they just had more time with it. Marvel really did, I will agree, took a step backwards with this by trying to push it out the door before giving it time. So that was Marvel's fault, and I think they've learned from that mistake. Because now they've released a good movie after good movie after good movie. I mean, granted, this is still a good movie, but I wouldn't say it's the best. Now, final score is where I'm going to have difficulty with, and I may regret the score later, but it will be final. It will be. Because I don't plan on reviewing this again when the next Avengers movie comes out. I don't. So, and I've been struggling with this even before today. I have been. What do I give Iron Man 2? Because I feel like it deserves a 6, but at the same time, I enjoyed this movie way too much. I don't know what to give it, but I am going to give it a final score. I give Iron Man 2 a 7 out of 10. I do. Like I said, I may regret it later. I don't know. But I feel like because I enjoy this movie. I feel like it's the best idea it's the best thing I can give it. I feel like it deserves a 6, but at the same time, I don't think it does. And it's a difficult thing to score for me because I enjoy the movie, but at the same time, I can understand why some people don't enjoy it. There are problems with it. The script's not great. The final action sequence is very anticlimactic. There are problems with there are huge plot holes in this film. But at the same time, I still enjoy it because of the cast, because of some of the dialogue. The action's still really, really fun. It's a Marvel movie. It's an Iron Man movie through and through. So yeah, that's about it, really. I said I'd go over some of the shows and review those. I haven't had time to do that. I'll try and do it tomorrow and do reviews of it, and I'll keep doing those. But at the same time, I've got to do all these, so bear with me on that. So next time, so I will see you guys next time with the next movie to review for Marvel Madness, Marvel's Thor. So y'all have a good evening, a good weekend, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.